some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way if we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send to New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you. But it's much easier to arrest a bad guy. Like I just said, we're concentrating on public safety threats of human and national security threats. Right. It's much easier to arrest a bad guy in the jail. Give us access to Rikers Island that we've been kicked out of. Let us get the bad guy in jail. It's safer for the alien. It's safer for the officer. It's safer for the community. But if you're going to release these bad guys, out in the community, then we're going to have to go find them, which puts the officer at risk, puts the community at risk, and and bottom line is, sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the mainstream liberal media, the woke reporters, boo-hoo, why are you crying, right, about the possibility of mass deportations, because President-elect Trump seems to be dead serious about conducting the largest mass deportation operation in American history, just based off some of his cabinet picks. Like, for example, Stephen Miller, who apparently is going to be the deputy chief of staff. He is very anti-illegal immigration, okay? And you have Tom Homan, who was picked to be border czar, and Kristi Noem, who was picked to be the secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, that is a team of individuals that, in my opinion, if I had to guess, they're not going to be playing around when it comes to illegal immigration, okay? I mean, we are on the cusp of Trump fulfilling his promise of mass deportations. And the liberal media is trying to pretend as if Trump supporters are going to have buyer's remorse and that we don't understand exactly what we got ourselves into with having mass deportations in this country, right? This is the narrative that they're spinning. Oh, well, you guys don't understand what you voted for. You guys don't understand the negative consequences of deporting illegal immigrants.
It's chilling what he just said. You realize that when he says, yes, families can be deported together, what he is saying is that U.S. citizens can be deported. What he is saying is, if the parent is undocumented and they have U.S. citizen children or U.S. citizen spouse, and you don't want to separate them, then let's deport the U.S. citizens. Look, Donald Trump won the electoral vote. He won. He's going to win the House. He won the Senate. For all effects and purposes, he's got the Supreme Court. They've given him immunity. This is what the country voted for. This is, a lot of people thought that when he talked about mass deportations, he wasn't being serious. I don't know how many times he had to say it for people to realize he was being serious. Well, if you thought he wasn't being serious, the appointment of Tom Homan today as border czar, and he will be in charge of a mass deportation program, the largest the country has ever seen, they say. And now Stephen Miller, as deputy chief of staff, should let you know that he was absolutely serious. And when you talk about mass deportations, people think, oh, it's just going to be the criminals. There's not enough criminals, aliens in the federal prison system for it to be mass deportations. What it means is grandmothers. What it means is brothers and aunts. What it means is abuelos y abuelas. It means dreamers. It means your family members. It means your colleagues. It means your friends. It means people who are part of the society. And look, America, those of you who voted for Trump, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You screwed around and you're about to find out.
Yeah, whatever. Right, whatever, man. These people think that this is a defund the police type of situation. This is a soft on crime type of situation where all of these liberals, these progressives, these lunatics in these liberal cities begged for the police to be defunded. They begged for the politicians to be soft on crime, and they got exactly what they asked for, and now all of a sudden they're regretting it, right? No. That's not one of these situations, okay? We're going to conduct the largest mass deportation operation in American history, and we're not going to regret it, right? We're not going to be looking back and saying, wow, we should not have deported all those illegals, right? No, that's not what's about to happen, okay? I'm sorry to burst your bubble. These people can fearmonger all they want, okay? But this is not one of those things where there's going to be buyer's remorse. This is what American people voted for, and they know exactly what they voted for. There are too many illegals in this country, and they have to be deported, right? It is what it is. It has to happen. So, with that being said, border czar Tom Homan has come out and said, listen, when it comes to these sanctuary cities, regardless of whether or not they want to cooperate, we're still going to deport the illegals, right, out of the country, okay? Doesn't matter where they are. And now you have these woke reporters pressing Eric Adams, who is apparently in talks with President Trump in regards to cooperating with the federal government and possible mass deportations out of New York City. These woke reporters are now pressing Eric Adams on his support of Trump's mass deportation plan, basically trying to get him to come out against Trump and his plan to conduct mass deportations regardless of where the illegals are, right? Regardless of whether or not the cities want to cooperate. And I just want to be clear here before I get into this video so that you guys understand the situation that Eric Adams is in. He's the mayor of a deep blue city in a deep blue state, right? That's becoming more red, okay? But it's not a conservative state yet. It's not a conservative city yet. So you got to understand, there's some things that he can't come out here and say directly, although maybe behind the scenes, he may support these things. Like, for example, he can't come out here directly and say, yes, I support mass deportations, although that's probably what he wants, right? Or that, hey, he doesn't want New York City to be a sanctuary city anymore because that would cause a far left Democrat Party revolt, right? So he can't come out here and just completely say that, hey, I support what Trump is doing. And you can tell that, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place by the way he basically goes off on these reporters for continuing to press him on denouncing Trump's plan to conduct mass deportation. So without further ado, let's get into it.
And as you communicate with President-elect Trump and have communicated with him, will you express concern about mass deportations in the city?
My concern is one concern, that we keep tinkering around the edges. We keep having this philosophical conversation about it. The voters communicated loudly and clearly. We have a broken immigration system. It needs to be fixed. That's the only conversation I want. It's broken. It needs to be fixed. And New York City was devastated by that broken system. 220,000 migrants and asylum seekers have made their way here. No financial assistance from the administration. I think it was about $200 and something million with billions of dollars we had to pay for. I don't want to see that happen again. I don't want what's taking place in Chicago and Denver, Los Angeles, Houston. I don't want to see it take place again. Let's fix our immigration system. Anything other than that, I'm not interested in that conversation. We have a broken system. I talked about this in 2022, just as I talked about violence in 2021, and voters made this the top of their list. The top of their list. When I was talking about it, everyone was just being dismissive of me, and voters said, this is a problem. And if we don't have a conversation about fixing the system, everything else is just being philosophical and theoretical, and I'm just not going to engage in that. Let's fix the system.
To be clear, sir, are you saying leave people here alone, focus on the system, or are you not even engaging on what might happen in the city and just focus on the system fix? So I understand your position.
Well, part of it is we need to either pick up the course. Cities should not be dealing with a national problem. We need to pick up the course. And there are those here, I've said this more than once, there are those here who are repeated offenders. We need to address that. You don't come to our city and our country and commit violence acts on innocent people.
Well, do you think that they will happen here?
We're going to do everything possible to make sure that people are treated in a dignity and humane way that we've done for these last few years.
Okay, so then my question is, how can migrant New Yorkers be sure that they won't happen here, given that ICE can make arrests in New York City without police cooperation? And then the second question is, why should New Yorkers, including migrant New Yorkers, trust that you will advocate for them with the new Trump administration, given that you have a personal stake in winning the president's favor?
Okay, a couple of things. Do you think every New Yorker believes there should not or should be mass deportation? Do you believe every New Yorker believes that?
No, but you have said you don't think there should be.
Yeah, but you said, how can I advocate for New Yorkers? So I should only advocate for one type of New Yorker or all New Yorkers?
Well, that's tough. I don't think you can advocate for all New Yorkers.
Oh, really? Okay, so which New Yorker I shouldn't advocate for? The ones that agree with you or disagree with you?
Well, if you believe there should be no mass deportations, how can people believe that you will advocate for that with the incoming Trump administration?
But you set up a question. This is very interesting, the question you set up. So there's certain New Yorkers I shouldn't advocate for?
I'm not sure that was my question. my question was, why should New Yorkers trust that you will advocate for them with the administration?
Let's go back again. There's some New Yorkers, there are people who stop me on the street and says, I voted for the president and I believe there should be mass deportation. There are people stop me on the street and say, I believe it shouldn't be mass deportation. So what one needs to do is have the ability to sit people in the room and come up with real solutions. That's what I've been doing for 3 years. And so for you to state I'm trying to cover someone's favor when this is what I've been talking about since the beginning of my administration, that we've been in this problem. And even prior to that, I've been an advocate to deal with immigration issues. So this is not about trying to get anyone favor. This is about making sure we treat this city and the residents of this city in a humane way, and that I listen to both sides. That's the difference between being a mayor and someone who could just give opinions. I got to listen to all New Yorkers, not just the one I agree with or disagree with. That's what it calls when you're representing the entire 8.3 million people.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that, right? I want you guys to understand the fine line here that Eric Adams is trying to walk, right? Because he's really trying to thread a needle. He basically said during the press conference, no, I really don't support mass deportations, but he didn't say he wouldn't cooperate with the mass deportations. Those are two different things, right? This is why the reporters are trying to pin him down on whether or not he's going to cooperate, because saying you don't support it, that doesn't mean you won't cooperate, right? I don't support something, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do anything about it, right? If they want to come in here and they want to, start conducting these operations, I'm not really going to say much, right? I'm not going to get in the way. Notice how he kind of flipped the framing of the question back on the reporter when he said, well, what do you mean by advocating for New Yorkers? Because there's some New Yorkers who believe in mass deportations. There's some New Yorkers who don't. I said I'm going to advocate for all New Yorkers, and there are a good amount of New Yorkers that voted for Trump, that voted to be stronger on preventing illegal immigration, right? To be tough on the border, to have mass deportations, okay? That's the needle that Eric Adams is trying to thread here, because again, you got to understand, his state is far left. The Attorney General of New York is very hostile towards Trump. Kathy Hochul, the governor, is also very hostile towards Trump, and he's probably the guy with the most common sense out of three of them, right? He probably has the most common sense. He's probably the least far left, even though he is woke and he is liberal, right? Let's not get it twisted. One of the reasons why he was elected is because he was closer to the center than all of the other lunatics in the race, right? So again, Eric Adams here is just funny because I personally can understand what's happening, right? I told you guys in my first video on this situation, when he ended the food stamp program for illegal immigrants, I said, well, Eric Adams here, he has a very, very, very strong incentive to cooperate with Trump for various reasons. He knows that this migrant issue has severely negatively impacted his administration in the city. And he is actively trying to get rid of a lot of the illegals. As you can see, New York is trying to bust back illegals to Texas. So that tells you everything you need to know about whether or not they actually want to keep them. They don't, right? He's trying to get rid of them. But again, he can't openly come out here and say exactly what he wants to do or how he's going to do it or how much he's willing to cooperate with Trump because of the massive backlash from the left. I mean, there are already protests in New York City over the idea of mass deportations.
Anti-gay. Donald Trump, go away. Racist, sexist, anti-gay. Donald Trump, go away. Racist, sexist, anti-gay. Donald Trump, go away. Racist, anti-gay. Donald Trump has got to go. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear.
Again, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? So I can kind of cut through the BS, right? I can understand politicians speak, and he's definitely going full politician here by not coming out and stating directly that he will support Trump in the mass deportations, but also he's not saying that he's going to stop it, right? It's more like, well, I don't really like it, but, hey, if it happens, I'm going to turn my head the other way, okay? And that seems to be the needle that Eric Adams is trying to thread here. Now, my prediction is this. I think that he is going to cooperate because that's what he wants secretly, okay? But he can't say it out loud. And it's in his best interest to cooperate, Mayor Adams, because, hey, you got this federal charge against you. And, hey, Trump can help that go away. He can keep you out of jail, right? There's a possibility that you're going to prison, son. So if you don't want to cooperate with Tom Homan, if you don't want to cooperate with President Trump when it comes to conducting these mass deportations, then, hey, you might find yourself in prison, right? So I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying, if I was a betting man, okay, I would bet that Eric Adams is going to cooperate. Now, some people might not like that. They might not like that, but hey, it is what it is. This is how politics works, okay? You got to understand, Eric Adams is not in a position where he can really negotiate. You really can't negotiate. You can't, okay? You're in a bad position, okay? So you need to just cooperate and let the mass deportations take place. And hey, we can keep you out of jail. Now, the far left, they might hate you, but hey, you won't be in jail. Okay. I'm just saying. And if Trump can take credit for cleaning up a city like New York, it will look really good for him. It will look really good for his presidency. And hey, that's essentially what's going on here, right? That's the politics, right? That's the politics. So it'll be interesting to see how Eric Adams continues to navigate this, but clearly these woke reporters are not trying to allow him to just turn the other way as mass deportations are conducted in New York City. So he may have to take a side. And if I was you, Eric Adams, I would just take Trump's side, right? I would take Trump's side and just deal with the backlash from the far left. It's time for people to stop being afraid of these people. The American people have spoken and said, screw the far left. It's time to stand up to them in their lunacy. So you can either be on the right side of history, Eric Adams, or you can be on the side with the American people, or you could be in jail. And, let's see if the far left can save you in jail. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.